Doctors on TV, a program that brings you the latest advancements in medical science and helps you understand complex health conditions. I'm your host, Dr. Sara Barba Cabodil. Another Sunday morning that will guide you all the way. But before anything else, I invite everyone to kindly follow and subscribe to our social media accounts at www.facebook.com/doctorsontv and like and subscribe to our YouTube channel. Just type www.youtube.com/@UNTVNewsAndRescue. And you can actually send us questions and mga comments po sa pages na yan. Kaya naku, after liking and subscribing, i-share nyo na din po sa inyong mga friends and family. Mga kasangbahay, pamilyar ba sa inyo ang sakit na Alzheimer's disease? Noong 1906, napansin ni Dr. Alzheimer ang mga pagbabago sa utak ng isang babae na namatay dahil sa isang kakaibang sakit sa pag-iisip. Naku, kaya ang sakit po na ito ay pinangalanan bilang pagpapugay kay Dr. Alois Alzheimer. Alamin po natin kung gaano karami na ang naapektuhan ng sakit na ito. Let's watch this.
Alzheimer's disease is a common form of dementia. This condition progressively worsens over time, beginning with mild memory loss and eventually making it challenging to engage in conversations or respond to the surrounding environment. In the Philippines, an estimated 2,010 individuals have died due to Alzheimer's disease, and it has 172nd highest death rate in the world. Additionally, the disease is estimated to affect 60 to 70% of the roughly 50 million individuals living with dementia across the globe.
And that's the sneak peek on how many Filipinos across the country were affected by the Alzheimer's disease that kills our thoughts, language, and memory slowly. And for deeper understanding about this, stay tuned. Doctors on TV will be right back. At para sa malawak pa na kaalaman tungkol sa Alzheimer's disease, we have invited an expert in the field of behavioral neurology and dementia. She will share her wealth of knowledge and experience in understanding and managing complex cognitive disorders, including Alzheimer's disease. Please join me in giving a warm welcome to our esteemed behavioral neurology and dementia specialist, Dr. Donna Belchu from Makati Medical Center. Good morning, Doc Donna. Welcome to Doctors on TV.
Hi, Dr. Sara. Good morning. And sa ating mga viewers, magandang umaga po.
Thank you dahil pinaunlakan mo kami ngayong araw. Okay? And ito to proceed, let's learn the significant impact on the lives of individuals and families affected by these conditions. And Doc Donabel will help us today. So let's get started. So, as mentioned in our introduction a while ago, Doc Donna, how can Alzheimer's disease destroy memory and thinking skills of an individual living with this condition?
Okay. So, bali ang Alzheimer's disease nga po, no, it's caused by an accumulation of an abnormal protein in the brain. And it specifically accumulates in the area that's responsible for memory. So, initially, pag nag-accumulate yung protein na yun dun sa area na yun, nasisira yung mga brain cells, kumbaga. So, unti-unting pag nasisira, unti-unting lumiliit yung brain cells natin, kaya hindi niya nagagawa yung function niya, kaya nagiging makakalimutin yung mga individuals na may Alzheimer's disease.
Okay, and what exactly is the mechanism? So, yung pagkasira nitong cells and yung pagdeposito nitong certain protein that you mentioned.
Meron mga iba-ibang risk factors kasi. One is age, the other is genetics, environmental factors. So pag nagkaroon ng mutation in terms of sa genes, nagkakaroon ng abnormal protein nga, no, it takes years before it develops. And then eventually when it deposits in the brain na, so nag-accumulate for years siya. So masisira niya na nga yung mga brain cells. And then eventually, mas may magmamanifest na mga symptoms kasi namatay na yung mga brain cells.
I see. And okay, you mentioned like years. So sa practice nyo, Doktora, kalimitan yung manifestation, so based from the history of yung majority of your patients okay, suffering from this condition, ganong katagal yung duration of time, okay, bago mag-manifest?
Actually, yan yung isang na pwedeng even years before, even when somebody is like in their 30s or 40s. Yan yung sinasabing preclinical stage. So, ibig sabihin, walang any manifestations, pero meron nang nangyayari.
Ongoing problem.
Ongoing na.
And then sudden na lang yung onset ng manifestation.
So, bali, ang mangyayari is, walang symptoms. Yung pala may ongoing problem na nagde-deposit sa brain. And then eventually, pero yun, hindi siya yung biglaan rin. It's more of dahan-dahan. Dahil nga parang paunti-unti, lumalabas yung mga symptoms niya.
I see. And kanina na-mention nyo about yun nga, nade-deposito siya sa part ng brain, particularly kung saan yun yung in charge sa memory. Okay, and we know, di ba, merong short-term memory, may long-term. So, ano yung mas affected? I mean, in Alzheimer's disease?
In Alzheimer's disease in particular, mas unang naapektuhan yung mga short-term.
Ano po itong mga short-term para sa benefit ng ating mga viewers?
So kung mapapansin nyo, yung iba yung parang mga recent memories, yung mga ginawa the prior days,
Ginawa ko
kahapon, or even sometimes yung mga natanong. Kaya kung mapapansin nyo yung mga ibang Alzheimer's disease na patients, paulit-ulit yung tanong nila kasi nakakalimutan nilang natanong na nila parang a few minutes ago or a few hours ago, natanong na nila or nakwento na nila, nakakalimutan nila. So, paulit-ulit sila kasi it's more of the recent information. So, yung bagong pasok ng information sa brain, hindi kasi nare-retain. So, nakakalimutan nila. And like, sa mga ibang klase ng pagiging makakalimutin, yung long-term naman yung affected. So, but specifically for Alzheimer's disease, initially it's the short-term ang naapektuhan, but as the disease progresses, even the long-term memory is also affected na rin.
I see. And usually yung transition ng parang progression ng disease rather. So noong una initially, di ba, short-term memory lang. How many years does it take para ma-affect na rin ng long-term memory, Dr.?
Ayun. It depends po on whether may mga nabigay ng medications or paano or meron ba mga preventive measures na ginawa yung patients para hindi na mag-progress or mapabagal yung pag-progress.
Okay, so napaka-essential pala ng early diagnosis, Doktora,
Yes.
para ma-prevent yung progression nitong condition. Okay. And kanina na-mention nyo, I'm just interested, about dun sa short-term memory, yung mga ginawa kahapon. Di ba meron tayo yung mga mahal nating mga senior citizens, mga lolo, lola, or nanay, tatay, na mas may edad na. Di ba, sometimes there's this tendency na nakakalimutan din nila. How different is that from if somebody has been diagnosed with Alzheimer's?
We can differentiate nga po, kasi it's normal naman as we grow older, as we age. Talaga namang part ng aging is yun, nag-shrink nga yung brain natin. Lumiliit po talaga siya. It's just that sa Alzheimer's disease nga, mas grabe yung pag-shrink, kaya mas grabe yung symptoms. So sa mga tumatanda, or not just the lolo, lola, even sa mga nasa 50s, mga 60s, normal lang po minsan kung nakakalimot ng paminsan-minsan and kung eventually naman is naaalala. So parang wag masyadong mabahala kung tipong paminsan-minsan nakalimutan mo, saan ko nga ba linagay ito? Or saan nga ba tayo?
Actually, kahit bata pa tayo nangyayari, di ba?
So it's normal naman po. Nagiging abnormal lang is yun nga, parang palagi na. At saka yung talagang tipong parang hindi niya na ma-recall. Kahit ano na, nabagawa ko ba talaga? Hindi naman Yung parang gano'n.
Teka, having mentioned that, Doktora, so sa Alzheimer's, ano yung mga early signs? Okay, so para medyo magbibigay ng hint sa mga kasama sa bahay, o kaya, lalo na kunya pag dumating sa inyo, usually when you take the clinical history of the patient, ito yung mga unang nangyari. So ano po yung parang okay, so these are the early signs of Alzheimer's.
Pag sinabi po kasing Alzheimer's, it's the most common cause of dementia.
And when you say dementia?
And when we say dementia, it's a broad term na nag-aano nga na apektado na yung cognition or yung cognitive, meaning yung memory, yung way of thinking, decision making. So, not just actually memory or pagiging makakalimutin. So, affected din yung behavior, nagiging irritable, affected din yung pag-iisip nga, parang ang bagal mag-process. pag sinabing dementia, affected po yung mga nabanggit ko at the same time, pati yung activities of daily living. Meaning, yung mga pang-araw-araw na gawain. Like shopping, pag-grocery, pagdadrive. Yun yung mga sinasabing instrumental na activities. Parang finance, yung pagbabank, pagbabayad, bills. Kung before, yung individual, it's very independent, diba? So, lahat nagagawa niya, kayang-kaya niya without difficulty. Pero parang dahil sa nagiging makakalimutin siya, nagiging dependent na siya sa ibang tao. Na parang kailangan na siyang alalahanan na, oh, nagbayad ka na ba nito? Or even the medicines, oh, inumin mo na to. Kasi siya, na hindi niya na maalala, hindi niya kaya on their own, or yung pag-shopping nalilito sa pag-ano ng pera, or nagkakamali sa pagbabayad. So if affected na yung activities of daily living, that's the parang criteria na masasabing may dementia na yung individual. Ang dementia nga is broad term po, no? So maraming iba-ibang causes ng dementia. And yung Alzheimer's disease po kasi, siya yung pinaka-common na cause ng dementia. So parang minsan na interchange na parang, ay, may dementia ka, ay, ganyan. But in reality, there are different causes of dementia. Pinaka-common lang si Alzheimer's.
Okay, so we tackled already the early signs of Alzheimer's. Na-mention nyo yung kanina, yung parang mga alterations sa mga usual activities po ng ating mga pasyente may Alzheimer's. And then, usually pag nagle-level up or nagpo-progress yung sakit, ano naman yung nakikita nating changes sa mga pasyente po?
Yun, ang natural na ano ng Alzheimer's is, yun nga, it's a continuum siya. Kasi nga, di ba sabi ko nga, merong parang preclinical. So even before naman somebody becomes Alzheimer's, meron yung tinatawag na mild cognitive impairment. So itong mild cognitive impairment, yun lang yung mga nagiging makakalimutin, but the activities of daily living, hindi pa apektado. Kumbaga makakalimutin siya pero kaya pa niya. So yun yung sinasabing pre-Alzheimer's. Pero once na affected na nga po yung activities of daily living, yun yung sinasabing, okay, baka nasa early Alzheimer's na. Purely difficulty in remembering things, repeatedly nag-ask ng questions, yung mga ganyan. Tapos yung parang nagiging slow na nga yung processing ng thinking niya. So yun yung mga early stages. And then eventually, pwedeng magpo-progress nga po, no? Magiging even nga the behavior, which is somehow common na nakikita natin kasi sa atin, dinadala yung mga lolo-lola dahil mga nagwawala na, naninigaw, nakikipag-away, ano-ano na yung sinasabi, yung mga ganun. So it's more of the behavioral.
Nawawala sila, di ba? Sumasakay ng jeep, hindi na alam ng mga kamag-anak sa nakarating. So, kung may makakilala at ihahatid, and then saka dadali na sa sa doktor, no, for further evaluation and management. Okay, and kanina natakal natin din yung mga causes ng Alzheimer's. Pero sino ba talaga yung medyo mas prone po magkaroon ng ganitong kondisyon?
Ang mga prone talaga is yung mga elderly. So, talagang risk factor is yung age. So, commonly, ang mga 65 years old and above, sila talaga yung higher risk of developing Alzheimer's disease po. Meron sinasabi nga pong mga risk factors, no? So, there's the modifiable and non-modifiable. Non-modifiable is yun nga, wala na po tayong magagawa. Kung meron ka po nito, mas mataas yung chances of you developing Alzheimer's. So, increase in age, so mga matatanda, yung mga may family history nga po kasi yun sa genetics, female is also an increased risk of Alzheimer's. So mas marami pong babae ang nagkakaroon ng Alzheimer's. So yun yung mga ng mga non-modifiable na risk factors. Now there are naman yung modifiable na yun nga, at least ito ma-share natin sa mga viewers para habang bata pa, magawa na ng paraan para hindi magkaroon ng Alzheimer's. So, yung mga modifiable is yung hypertension, diabetes, head trauma can also be like a risk factor for Alzheimer's. Lack of social interaction. So, kung mapapansin po natin during the pandemic, di ba, dahil nag-ECQ, nakulong lang sa bahay, Tas mas dumami yung nagkaroon ng mga may problems sa forgetfulness. Kasi lack of social interaction is a risk factor for dementia in general and Alzheimer's disease.
I see. And kanina, of course, you mentioned about dun sa genetic predisposition which is not modifiable. However, kung basically meron na palang mga na-diagnose early on dun sa mga older relatives or older family members, okay, meron bang pwedeng gagawin yung mga nasa younger generation in order for them to prevent them from, contracting, okay, the condition?
Yun nga po, no. So parang it's also I just wanted to make everyone know na it's not because may kamag-anak, kumbaga hindi porket may family history ng may Alzheimer's, automatically that they're going to get Alzheimer's disease. Kasi nga, meron rin naman yung mga non-modifiable na risk factors.
Factorial nga po.
So, it doesn't necessarily mean na kung may lolo ka, lola, or parents nyo is may Alzheimer's, is magkakaroon ka na rin. So, habang bata, since alam mong mas mataas yung risk mo dahil nga may family history, then you can do and modify yung mga ibang environmental na factors nga, which is yung mga modifiable. So, you have to do lifestyle modification. So, be physically active, exercise, be mentally and cognitively active, avoid yung mga head trauma. And another kasi is yung hearing impairment. It's also a risk factor eh. So, pag feeling nyo medyo mahina yung pandinig, i-modify na, magpatingin kung bakit mahina yung pandinig.
Sa bagay kasi, kapag may naririnig ka, basically nakaka-help yun sa brain processing.
Yes.
So kung wala kang naririnig masyado, so walang stimuli, okay?
Yes.
And doktora kanina, okay, so this time naman, what if diagnosis ng Alzheimer's? Ano naman yung pwedeng gawin, okay, para ma-prevent po yung progression, para wag na magtuloy pa yung memory loss.
So yun po. So kaya nga kanina na-mention yun na it's better for early diagnosis. Yung parang makakatch at the early stage of Alzheimer's is para maumpisahan po natin ng mas maaga yung mga medications na para sa mga Alzheimer's disease. So it's actually unfortunate na wala pa po talagang cure. So alam naman po nating lahat na parang sinasabi nga, pag meron ka na niya, wala ka na. Parang, kasi nga wala pa pong cure sa ngayon, although ongoing yung mga studies pa rin to find a cure for Alzheimer's disease. But what we have now are medications specifically working to prevent or to slow down the progression. So the earlier that we give those medication, so mas mapapastay natin sila dun sa stage
kung saan sila
na-diagnose. So, mas mapapatagal na kung early na-start yung medication, so nasa early stage lang sila na hindi sila mas magpo-progress po.
Okay, so nasa-slow down natin yung process ng ng disease. Okay, and yung mga may Alzheimer's disease na patients, doktora, meron ba silang like certain preferences sa mga gusto nilang gawin? Okay, kasi di ba marami silang nakakalimutan na eh. I mean, it's not only the memory loss like what you mentioned. So, even yung routines, nakakalimutan nila. Pero meron ba silang certain na parang ito yung mga gusto nilang activities instead?
Ang kadalasan is kung ano yung mga kinasanayan nila way back. Kasi nga, di ba?
Ay, kasi napapreserve initially yung long-term memory.
So, minsan nga, kumbaga dahil hindi nila na yung mga recent, ang natatandaan nila is yung long-term. So, usually, kung ano yung mga ginagawa nila when they were younger, yun yung mga mas gusto nilang ginagawa. And sometimes, may mga ibang family pinipilit na gawin nyo to parang bagong activity.
Yeah.
Mas nagagalit and mas ayaw.
So, nire-reject nila yung idea.
Kasi nga, hindi nila na naiintindihan eh. Kasi it's a new information. So, parang nila, hindi ko alam to, ayoko. So, parang inaano ko nga is, kung ano yung dating alam niya or yung ine-enjoy niya before, yun yung mas i-reinforce para mas matandaan pa rin niya lalo.
I see. So does it suffice to say na ito yun, these are the activities which matter most to Alzheimer's patients? Okay, nako. And usually po, sa mga may Alzheimer's, no, how debilitating can it be? I mean, also the life expectancy for these patients.
The life expectancy of patients with Alzheimer's disease, it's actually long. It's because Alzheimer's disease, it's a progressive eh. So, chronic siya.
Pangmatagalan na yung
Pangmatagalan
chronic.
siya. Ang nangyayari lang, nagkakaroon sila ng mga complications, which is the most common cause of their mortality. So, pag di ba yung mga ibang may Alzheimer's, they're prone to have infection. They're also parang at higher risk of nadadapa, yung trauma. So, pag nag-fall, pwedeng maano yung ulo, head injury. So, yung nagiging dahilan ng naho-hospital sila, nagkakaroon nga ng mga complication and namamatay. But Alzheimer's disease in general, may mga iba niyan umaabot ng 15 years. So matagal talaga na pag-aalaga. Lalo na kung naaalagaan ng mabuti. And yun, kung ginagawa na nakakainom ng mga medications, gumagawa ng mga activities to prevent the progression. So parang longer yung expectancy.
I see. And ito no, I'm just interested. Kapag dinala sa inyo yung pasyente, okay, and I mean, granting na talagang alam natin Alzheimer's, pero kayo, I mean, what do you initially see or observe, okay, and what do you usually hear from the family members, okay, nakasama niya, okay, sa bahay, that give you the signal na, oh, this is Alzheimer's disease?
Ang pinaka-prominent is yun nga, yung makulit, paulit-ulit. Sa society kasi natin, parang yun kulang yung education na akala normal lang yung makakalimutin. Parang, sige, ganyan na si Lola. So, hindi nila agad dinadala yung pasyente. So, most of the time nga, dinadala na lang nila sa clinic pag hirap na silang alagaan kasi nga affected na yung behavior. Yun na yung mga nagwawala nga, nananakit na kasi nga nagwawala. Yung mga hindi natutulog. Yun yung common ngayon na parang hindi natutulog si Lola, ilang araw na daw, hindi tulog.
Bakit niya hindi natutulog?
It's one of the behavioral changes din. Nako-confuse and nadi-disorient na rin sila in terms of yung time. So, hindi na nila alam kung gabi, umaga.
When sa atin na normal individuals, alam natin ito yung when dumating na yung yung pagdilim na, so alam natin na dapat tayo, we should be resting already. Silang
Sila
ganung
wala.
recognition.
Parang sila na gabi ba, umaga ba, so hindi. So, or sometimes is dahil nagkakaroon sila ng mga delusions, no, parang feeling nila may taong mananakit sa kanila. Kasi nga, because of the behavioral changes, feeling nila may papasok sa kwarto, may magnanakaw kasi nawawala yung gamit nila, hindi nila alam nila saan nila tinago. Feeling nila may kumukuha. So parang minsan is you also have to know nga bakit sila hindi natutulog. Baka pala yun, akala nila may kumukuha ng yung mga ganyan.
Gamit nila.
Kaya ayaw nilang matulog kasi binabantayan nila. So yun yung mga common actually sa ngayon na nakikita ko sa clinic. It's because of those behavioral changes.
So there's really a variety of changes, okay, that occur in Alzheimer's patients. And okay, so apart from yung clinical history taking, okay, what diagnostic measures do you use para to come up with your final diagnosis na this one is really an Alzheimer's disease case?
So, number one, syempre, the evaluation. No? So, we do testing. So, may mga questions, may mga pinapa-answer para nga ano ba talaga yung weaknesses niya, ano yung mga hindi niya na kayang gawin. Besides from that, we do yung syempre mga basic blood tests. Kasi nga, dementia in general. Meron naman mga sinasabing reversible dementia. Akala dementia, pero dahil pala meron siyang vitamin insufficiency lang, may mga thyroid problem, that can be corrected. So, yun yung isang important that when we see patients sa clinic is to investigate baka meron palang ibang dahilan yung dementia nila na akala Alzheimer's. We also request yung mga brain imaging kasi nga titingnan natin yung itsura ng brain. Lumiliit na ba talaga yung parts responsible for memory? Or baka naman may mga prior strokes pala sila that can also affect the memory. Or baka pala meron silang brain tumor na pala dun sa area ng brain responsible for memory. So we also have to investigate kung talagang yung makikita natin is typical for patients with Alzheimer's. Now, Alzheimer's in particular, meron ngayon mga blood tests that we can request rin to find if meron yung abnormal protein sa blood. So pag may abnormal protein na yun sa blood, then most likely baka Alzheimer's na nga talaga.
What
yung
is this
ano.
abnormal protein that you are referring to,
So
Doktora?
ito yung beta amyloid. So it's an abnormal protein produced by the body na de-deposit sa brain. So pag sobrang marami na sa brain, in excess, napupunta na siya sa blood. So when we do that blood test, madedetect siya. So yun yung oligomer na amyloid beta.
Itong protein na to ay hindi normally existing. Okay.
Although meron mga iba rin, kasi medyo complicated na eh. Parang may mga ibang sakit pa rin that has that abnormal protein. But yun nga, i-correlate sa symptoms. Clinically na.
I see. Okay. So, Doktora, ito, but, I mean, can you diagnose Alzheimer's without the use of an imaging study like MRI?
Clinically, yes, we can naman po.
Pero confirmatory lang the
Confirmatory
MRI.
yung MRI. Kasi yun nga, is we have to make sure that there are no other parang pathology or problem sa brain.
Wherein the dementia or the Alzheimer's is secondary to. Okay, nako, Doktora. Ang dami natin natututunan, no? So, this conversation is really getting more and more interesting. Okay, and nako, ito mga kasambahay, I'm sure marami din po kayo napupulot sa aming talakayan. Pero nako, hindi pa po nagtatapos dyan. Pansamantala muna po namin ititigil ang ating talakayan. Nako, kaya wag niyo po ililipat ang channel. Dr. Sam TV will be right back. At para pa rin po sa pagpapatuloy ng ating talakayan, still here with us is Dr. Donabel Chu from Makati Medical Center. She is a behavioral neurology and dementia specialist. Okay, so ito kanina, di ba, dami natin na pag-usapan, no? And at this time, pag-uusapan naman natin, doon nakapagbigay ka na ng ilang mga preventive measures. But, you know, can you add some more? Para at least ako, syempre parang nakakalungkot kasi pag na-diagnose ng Alzheimer's. So, syempre, as much as possible, we would want maiwasan magkaroon nito. And, Doktora?
Ayun, so kanina na-mention natin some of the preventions, no? And gusto ko maano sa mga viewers, hindi lang po ito para sa mga matatanda. So even the young individuals, young adults as early as 20s, 30s, you can start prevention kasi nga baka ongoing na eh, preclinical, meron na. So agahan nyo na rin yung prevention. Number 1, sabi ko, physical exercise. So you have to be physically active. So ang ano is aerobic exercise at least 3 times a week na nag-exercise for at least 30 to 45 minutes a day. Tapos yung mga naninigarilyo, mga umiinom ng alak, these are all risk factors kasi. So, kailangan,
basically, yung lifestyle, napaka-importante.
Oo. So, parang iwas sa paninigarilyo, iwas sa pag-inom ng alak. Lack of education is also a risk factor kasi. So, as a prevention, mas maganda na you continuously learn new things.
Kamusta yung Doktora, yung regularly nagbabasa pa ng dyaryo o kaya nakikinig ng mga balita? Ayan,
Yes.
does that help?
That helps. So, you have to continuously learn. 'Di ba? So, parang yun kaya inaano, magandang may natutunan na bago kasi it stimulates your brain to think. So, parang in a way, exercise rin siya
Sa brain cells.
So, kaya maganda yung mga ganoon. Iwas sa mga head trauma. So, yung mga nagmomotor, make sure naka-helmet kasi nga para hindi maano. Pag kulang ka ng social interaction, mas increased risk ka to have Alzheimer's. So, habang bata, be involved in mga activities. Join mga organizations na stimulate yung brain.
Okay, how about food, Doktora? Is there a certain diet na kapag increase or decrease, medyo nalilink sa Alzheimer's or wala naman?
In terms of food, the proven na, based on studies na mas maganda to prevent and or help, no, is yung sinasabing Mediterranean diet. So, medyo high, na parang ano ba yung Mediterranean diet? Basically, it's more of yung mga green, leafy vegetables, fish, omega-3, yung mga ganyan. Berries, fruits.
Mga anti-inflammatory. Okay, when it comes to treatments naman, Doktora, kalimitan, paano po yung management approach nyo pagka ang diagnosis sa case would be Alzheimer's disease?
So, in terms of management, pwede siyang non-pharmacologic, meaning hindi gamot, more of yung mga activities, in yung pharmacologic, which is yung mga medications yun na specifically for Alzheimer's disease.
And we've been hearing yung mga cholinesterase inhibitors. So, ano yung role nito dito sa Alzheimer's disease?
So, okay. So, di ba, ang brain natin kasi, it's producing yung mga chemicals. One of the chemicals used for the process of learning and yung mga memory is yung acetylcholine. So, sa mga may Alzheimer's disease, dahil nga nasisira na yung mga brain cells nila, hindi na enough yung napoproduce na acetylcholine. So, meron rin na enzymes na cholinesterase na mas lalong pinapababa yung acetylcholine sa brain. So, the medication is yung mga cholinesterase inhibitor, meaning para tumulong na mapanatiling mataas yung level ng acetylcholine para to help nga in terms of the brain function. So, yun yung role ng mga cholinesterase inhibitors.
I see. And what other treatment modalities that you subject your patients into when it comes dito sa talking about the management as a whole?
So, yun, besides the cholinesterase inhibitors, may isa pang pharmacologic, which is yung NMDA receptor antagonist. So, it's again, parang it just helps in terms of like yung mga chemicals sa brain that's responsible for learning, memory, and all. So these are the medications that we give patients with dementia or Alzheimer's disease. Now, besides this, meron pang mga iba, like kung may mga behavioral changes nga, we can do and give other medications for that. But syempre, dahil elderly, karaniwan, yung mga may Alzheimer's disease, we don't want naman na bigay ng mga gamot kasi magkakaroon sila pwedeng interaction sa ibang gamot nila. So, may mga ibang complications. So, we advocate rin yung mga non-pharmacologic. So, yun eh. I know it's difficult, pero kailangan sa mga pasyenteng may Alzheimer's disease is yung involvement ng family. So, parang the way that the family takes care of the patient, yun talagang aalagaan, laging kakausapin, laging nga yung mga may activities na pinapagawa, kasi nga para na-exercise yung brain nila.
I see. And having mentioned that, na napaka-importante ng support system, okay, especially ng family, okay, na kasama nitong Alzheimer's patient, ano yung magandang advice that we can really give, okay, dito sa mga kaanak po on how to care for someone, okay, especially their loved one who has Alzheimer's disease?
So it's na parang mahirap, but we always have to tell the relatives that kailangan ng patience or yung tiyaga. Kasi nga, patients with Alzheimer's disease, hindi na nila alam diba? So, may diferensya in terms of their thinking skills. Tapos yung nakakalimot, sometimes nakakalimutan na anak ka, yung ganyan. So, we really have to be understanding, na iintindihin natin na hindi naman nila sinasadya. Yun, ba, minsan may mga nakikita na ano-ano yung ginagawa ng pasyente na may Alzheimer's. You have to understand na hindi nila sinasadya yon, hindi nila gusto gawin yon. So, wag nyo silang papagalitan, wag nyo silang sisigawan kasi in a way, nakaka-trigger din yon na magagalit na rin sila so makikipag-away sila. Mas lalong lalaki yung nag-aaway, yung family, yung mga ganun, mas stress, mas
Baka mag-progress pa yung condition.
So, talagang kailangan lang, it's a family effort. So, mahirap maging taga-alaga ng may Alzheimer's disease, kaya hindi rin po pwedeng iisa lang. So, talagang kailangan meron take turns, kumbaga.
So basically, dapat talaga patuloy yung pagmamahal natin, ang understanding and compassion sa mga may Alzheimer's disease. Okay? And Doktora, thank you very much. Ang dami namin natutunan sa iyo, ha? And naramdaman ko yung malasakit mo talaga sa mga pasyente mo, ha? And you're doing a great job, no? And do you have like any final words for our viewers?
Sa ating mga viewers yon, ang pinaka-important is yung early detection. So, minsan, ina-advocate niya yung mga senior citizen, like mag-start 60 years old. Kahit wala pa kayong ganyang nararamdaman, it's better to have your cognition or yung memory nga assess. Parang as baseline, matingnan natin po kung and mabantayan. Kumbaga, mamomonitor. So, early screening to start yung early management, it's better. Now, for those meron ng Alzheimer's disease, again, yun yung paulit-ulit kong inaano sa mga relatives is we have to be understanding, be patient, and taking care of them. Yun nga, sinasabi, nung bata kayo, inalagaan kayo ng magulang nyo.
Yeah.
So, dapat, pagtanda nila, ganun din, na parang intindihin natin sila and we do everything to make them comfortable and hindi sila na ano sa environment. So, make their environment safe.
Thank you for those kind words, Doktora, no? And you might want to invite our viewers to visit you here at Makati Medical Center. What do you have to offer here?
So yeah, the Makati Medical Center has a memory clinic, no? So we do the cognitive neuro evaluation. We screen patients kung meron ng mga mild cognitive impairment para nga maagapan. And we also do yung mga comprehensive testing na. As mentioned sa start, there are different causes of dementia. So by doing the screen, makikita natin po whether Alzheimer's disease or other types of dementia yung meron. So visit us para lang maagapan natin. So and yung prevention. So yun po.
Okay, thank you very much once again, Dr. Donabel M. Chu from Makati Medical Center. And I'm very glad that I've learned so much today on today's episode. Naku, linggo-linggo nagkakaroon po tayo ng mga bagong kaalaman o kaya naman po mas naipapaliwanag sa ating mabuti yun mong mga dapat nating ginagawa. Once again, thank you for being with us, Dr. Donabel Chu from Makati Medical Center, a behavioral neurology and dementia specialist from Makati Medical Center. Naku, pero hindi pa po nagtatapos dyan mga kasambahay. Let's add some short parenting tips on how to boost your child's memory. Only here at Baby Talk.
Bakit nga ba kung ano pa yung dapat mong tandaan, yun pa ang madalas mong makalimutan? Samantalang kung ano ang gusto mong kalimutan, yun pa ang palagi mong naaalala. Akala mo ba ay normal lang yan? Paano kung napapadalas na ang pagiging makakalimutin mo, bago pa tuluyang lumala ang iyong karamdaman, mainam na magpakonsulta ka na agad sa doktor upang mapayuhan ka nila sa mga dapat mong gawin. Baka kasi signs na yan ng younger onset or early onset Alzheimer's disease. Alam mo ba na kahit bata ay posibleng magkaroon ng Alzheimer's disease? Kaya habang maaga pa ay importanteng malaman nating mga mommies ang ganitong sakit, lalong-lalo na sa ating mga anak upang atin silang magabayan hanggang sa kanilang paglaki. So let's start our discussion now. Ang term na childhood Alzheimer's ay tumutukoy sa dalawang sakit na nakakaapekto sa memory at pagsasalita ng bata. Ito ay ang Niemann-Pick disease type C at ang Sanfilippo syndrome na lysosomal storage disorder. Ang dalawang sakit ay wala talagang kinalaman sa Alzheimer's disease ng mga matatanda, ngunit natukoy lamang ang term dahil sa pagkakapareho ng ilang symptoms. Parehong sakit ng Niemann-Pick disease type C at ang Sanfilippo syndrome ay ang progressive or lumalala habang tumatanda ang isang bata. Ang Niemann-Pick disease type C ay namamanang sakit at naaapektuhan kung paano ang fats, lipids at cholesterol ay binibreakdown at inilalabas sa katawan. Ito ay nagdudulot ng pag-accumulate ng lipids or taba sa atay, spleen, utak at bone marrow. Ang symptoms nito ay nagsisimula around 5 years old at ilan sa mga symptoms would be hirap igalaw ang mga binti at maglakad, malaki ang spleen or liver ng bata, may jaundice or yellowing of the skin after birth, hirap matuto at makakalimutin, seizures, hirap magsalita at lumunok, nanghihina ang mga muscles, nanginginig, hirap igalaw ang mga mata at iba pang mga symptoms. Ang Sanfilippo syndrome naman ay isang rare na genetic abnormality na naaapektuhan kung paano ibinibreakdown ng katawan ang carbohydrates at sugar. Ito ay nagdudulot ng problema sa utak at nervous system. Ang symptoms ng Sanfilippo syndrome ay lumalabas between 2 and 6 years old. Early signs of Sanfilippo syndrome would include delay sa pagsasalita, madalas na ear or sinus infection, malaki ang ulo, madalas na may respiratory infections at diarrhea, masakit na ulo at problema sa pagtulog, may behavior issues that can look like it's caused by autism, compulsive behaviors, and hyperactivity. Wala pang lunas ang Sanfilippo syndrome. Ang paggamot ay tumutulong ibsan ang mga symptoms. Sa Niemann-Pick disease type C, ang lunas ay physical therapy na tumutulong sa paglakad at pagkilos ng pasyente. Nagbibigay din ng gamot na miglustat sa pasyente. If you see any of the symptoms mentioned or any unusual symptoms, ang aking payo ay ikonsulta agad ang inyong mga anak sa doktor. And that's it mga kasangbahay. Sana ay marami kayong natutunan sa araw na ito. As always, consult your pediatrician for your baby's health. And thank you for watching today's episode. Again, I am Dr. Katrina Flor Cusdacanay. You can contact me through the following: Facebook and YouTube, Dr. Katrina Flor Cruz, Instagram and TikTok, katrinamd.ph. See you in our next episode.
Marami sa ating mga kababayan ang nag-aakala na ang pagkakaroon ng sakit na Alzheimer's ay natural na parte ng pagtanda o di naman kaya'y ang mga nakatatanda lamang ang maaaring magkaroon nito. At sa madalas na pagkakataon ay napagkakamalian na ang demensya at Alzheimer's disease ay iisa. At dahil milyong katao sa buong mundo ang nagkakaroon nito kada taon, mahalagang malaman natin paano nga ba natin maiiwasan na magkaroon ng Alzheimer's disease o ng ibang sakit na may kaugnayan sa ating memorya. So here are some natural tips on how to make our brain healthy, anuman ang ating edad. Ugaliing maglakad sa labas o sa bakuran araw-araw para ma-stretch ang buto ng mga pasyente. Kailangan din ito para ma-boost ang mood at gumaan ang pakiramdam. Bukod dito, nakatutulong din ng stretching para maging mahimbing ang pagtulog ng may sakit na Alzheimer's disease. Ang pagkain ng broccoli ay madaming benefits at disease-fighting properties para sa brain dahil ang broccoli ay mayaman sa vitamin K at folic acid. Nakakatulong ito para sa pag-boost ng memory. Ang pag-inom ng turmeric tea ay mainam para sa memory, lalong-lalo na sa may mga taong may Alzheimer's disease dahil nakatutulong itong i-clear out ang mga amyloid plaques na common sa mga taong may ganitong sakit. Sana ay marami kayong natutunan sa episode natin ngayong araw. See you again next week for more natural tips. Muli, ako si Jason Sanchez, your integrative medicine doctor. Please follow me on my social media accounts, DocJTV. Because natural is beautiful, only here at Naturally Yours.
Before saying goodbye, I would like to greet my kambal Iyo and Iya, and also hi to EJ and kay Doc Aline. And of course, Nanay and Tatay, I love and miss you both. As we wrap up today's episode, we'd like to extend our gratitude to all our viewers for their continued support. We hope you enjoyed our show and found it very informative. Remember to follow us on social media for updates, and don't forget to tune in next time, God willing. Muli po, maraming salamat sa inyong lahat. Ito po si Dr. Sara Barba Cabudil. Let's make it a habit to learn about good health. Only here at Doctors on TV.
Watch these snippets for the upcoming episode on Sunday.
The hepatobiliary system is composed of the liver, gallbladder, and the biliary tract. So that usually is concerned with our digestive functions, and metabolism, because the liver is the biggest organ in the body.
We would like to thank Makati Medical Center, a hospital with a heart, located at Amarsal Street, Legazpi Village, Makati City. You may contact them at 632-8888-8999. Like and follow their Facebook page at I Am Makati Med, or you can visit their website at www.makatimed.net.ph. Makati Med Wellness Center, located at 7th floor, Ayala North Exchange Tower 1, Legazpi Village, Makati City. Mestiza Soaps. Mestiza soaps are made with natural ingredients and a combination of vegetable and fruit extracts, which can also be used by children and pregnant women. Good news is that these beauty products are vegan and cruelty-free. For inquiries and orders, contact 0969-175-423133 or 02-8824-5217 or 02-8813-0320. Adlaon Optical, located at ground floor Super 8 Warehouse, Poblacion, Baliwag, Bulacan, 878-5911 and second floor Aliw Complex, MacArthur Highway, Calvario, Meycauayan City, Bulacan, 0922-861-2095. Organic Acai. Support your health with 100% organic superfood supplement, Organic Acai, premium blend, and acai freeze-dried capsules, rich in powerful antioxidants, fiber, amino acids, vitamin C, omega fats, and other essential nutrients the body needs to help build stronger immunity against illnesses and help increase your energy. Organic Acai is available in all Mercury drugstores and other leading drugstores and supermarkets nationwide. Lindison Gas Corporation, located at 179 National Road, Landayan, San Pedro, Laguna, 4023. For inquiries, you may contact them at 02-8824-0867 or 02-824-9360. Or you can email them at lgcsalesco@gmail.com. And of course, salamat sa ating partner, ang DepEd Santa Rosa, sa pakikisa sa ating adhikain na maibahagi ang kaalamang pangkalusugan. Clinica Figura, you may contact them at 0917-317-7272. Medical Depot. Healthy Num Num Food. Barba Cabudil Holistic Health Group, located at Unit 1531, Centurion Medical Makati, Century City, Makati. You may contact them at 0917-317-7272 for appointments and other inquiries about your health and wellness needs. Please like and follow their Facebook page, Dr. Sara Barba Cabudil. Special thanks to Dr. Gia Grace B. Sison, Head of Makati Med Wellness Center, Attorney Pilar Nenuca P. Almira, President and CEO, Dr. Saturnino P. Javier, Medical Director, Ms. Arlene L. Sanco, Senior Vice President, Ms. Monica Reyes Dizon, Assistant Vice President, Mr. Mark Funelas, Unit Head Manager, Communications and Special Projects.